Okay, welcome everybody to your 12 p.m. stretch break. TJ here. For today, you won't really need anything. We'll be standing and doing a lot of our stretching type stuff today. So just kind of stand. I just want you to kind of bringing your arms kind of forward and back across the body. Not really throwing them. We're just moving. Just trying to get movement between our back and our chest. Nice job. All right, so now we're going to take our shoulders and we're just going to go small shoulder rolls to the back. So just small, going backwards. Give me a couple more. And now let's roll it forward. So just very small shoulder rolls, nothing big. Again, just trying to get a little more movement, especially within the upper body. Sometimes that movement will translate into just being a little more mobile. 3, 2, 1. All right. So speaking of to keep the back and the shoulders mobile, I want your hands to face outward. Imagine like we were laying down in the snow and I ask you to make a snow angel. So I just want you to keep your shoulder blades flat up against your back. We'll do some stretching, I promise. I'm just trying to get our upper body moving a little better, especially when we sit in a chair and we feel very locked up. Nice job. Give me a couple more. Last one. Nice job. All right, so reach that arm across the body. And so right hand is going to grab the left hand and we're just pulling it across the body. Be mindful that the shoulder is not up in your ears. So imagine like, you know, if you were talking on the phone and you're trying to hold that phone between your ear and your shoulder, try to keep that shoulder down and keep your head straight up. So we don't want any of that whole holding the phone to the ear business. Nice job. All right, so let's go other side. So right arm coming across the body, my left hand is grabbing my right. Again, keeping that right shoulder down. Nice job. All right, so I now want you to take a wider stance with your feet, and I just want you to reach your left over towards your right, feeling that stretch within the lat or what's underneath, like the shoulder, that kind of armpit. So just feeling it through here. All right, before we do the other side, I actually just want you to reach down the middle. So reaching for your toes, you could still keep your feet just slightly wider than your shoulders because we'll be doing that other stretch for the other side of the back. Now I want you to take your hands and I want you to grab. So right hand is going to grab left elbow and vice versa. And just kind of swaying from side to side. So swaying to the left, swaying to the right. Just feeling a little bit of that movement through the back of the leg, hopefully not bothering you too much. All right, so let's pause for a moment. Just keep kind of hanging out down here in the middle. Just reaching for the floor. Feeling that pull in the back of the leg. And now slowly kind of come back up. Again, just be careful because your head has been below your heart. I don't want you to feel like you're going to feel dizzy and fall over. We don't need that. And now I want you to reach your right hand over towards your left side. And just, again, feeling that stretch underneath that kind of right shoulder, you know, into like the arm, you know, the underside of the arm or the armpit. So again, stretching out that back. Nice job. All right. So speaking of back, we're going to do that one stretch that I really love to do. I want you to give yourself a great big hug. And again, this is going to stretch out all these little tiny muscles along the spine. Again, just from sitting, I want you to roll yourself down like a slinky. Feeling that stretch travel down the spine until you feel it in the low back. And again, let those arms drop, reaching for the toe. This time your back can be rounded for this particular stretch, just so you feel it through the low back. And I want you to grab or wrap your arms around you, a big hug, and reverse. Slowly back up. Feeling the stretch as you travel back up. And when you get to the top, just kind of do a couple of shoulder rolls, small shoulder rolls to the back. All right, so now let's interlock our fingers. So option one, interlock your fingers, then place it back behind your head. Option two, hands down by your side. If you have any shoulder injuries or issues, and just lift them behind you. So we're just stretching out the chest. So if your hands are clasped behind your head, push your head back into your hands, pushing your elbows as far back as to what is possible. Otherwise, if you have your hands down and behind you, just lift behind you as much as you can. If you want, you can alternate between the two. Feels a little different. All right. So now let's move on to the quads. All right. So standing, hanging onto a wall or a mirror or a counter or a table. I want you to grab your left foot with your left hand. If you have access to a chair and you feel like it's a little hard to grab that foot, you can always just rest it on the chair and still get that same sort of feeling within that front of the left leg, feeling that pull. And again, try to keep your balance. If you feel like balance is an aspect of your fitness that you want to be better at, try to kind of release your hand off of the table or the wall or the mirror to test it, just to see how stable you are on your ankle. All right. So now let's flip it over and let's do the right side or the left side, whichever side you are on. And again, grabbing the top of, well, my right foot. And again, if you have access to a chair, you can just rest that foot on the chair. And again, feeling that pull through the front of the right leg. And again, if we're testing our balance to see how stable we are on our ankle, try to pull your hand away from the wall or the table and just testing it out. All right, so let's go back to the opposite leg. We're going to do that same stretch, but this time I want to add just a little bit of a shift with that back. So moving that right or left knee, I want you to move it kind of back. So almost back behind you. So that hip flexor, you know, like when you're sitting in a chair and you feel these muscles in front of the leg, those get really tight. So pushing that knee back just a little bit Again, if you're resting your foot on a chair and you were doing that, you would actually just kind of slide that foot back. Great job, everyone. All right, now let's switch and move it back to the other side. So again, pushing that knee back just a little bit versus it being in line with the other knee. Again, feeling that hip flexor or that kind of bend when we're kind of in this like seated position a lot, or at least I can speak for myself. Great job. All right, so now stretching out the back of that lower leg. I want you to kind of get into this almost like if you're about to take off running stance. And I want you to push that back heel into the floor and making sure that that back foot is flat on the floor. So your stance may not be as wide as mine, or maybe it's wider than mine. As long as you're able to press that back heel into the floor, feeling it through the back of that lower part of the leg. If it helps you can add just that slight bend in that knee through that back leg, just so you're not feeling it through the back of the knee. Nice job. All right, let's switch. Turn it around. Do the opposite leg. So again, pushing that back leg, pushing the heel back into the floor. Nice job. Really feeling that stretch, those muscles in the back of our lower leg, our calf, they get really tight. It can really kind of create some issues when it comes to like that movement with our ankles and our feet, or even up into our knees and our hips. Nice job. All right, so we're going to turn it around. Again, we're going to do that same sort of stretch. But I want you to take your back heel and I want you to kind of like move it or pivot, kind of like where if it's like, let's say the bottom of my hand is the back of my foot. I want you to kind of like move it out. So feeling that stretch a little differently. So again, turning that foot, or it's almost like where your toes are pointing towards the other foot. And again, still be able to press that back heel into the floor. The other side really quick, and we'll just do a couple of really quick neck stretches before I let you go. So again, turn that back foot. So toes pointing towards the other foot, pressing that heel into the back of the floor. Again, feeling that stretch through the back of the lower leg. All right. So the last and final stretch, just to include the neck, is I just want you to just lightly take your right hand, lightly grab the left side of your head, just pulling that right ear towards the right shoulder. And again, extending that left hand. Again, be gentle with it. It's supposed to be more of a stretch or a light stretch. Let's do the other side. So left ear towards the left shoulder, left hand is grabbing the outside of the right head. And I am extending my right arm. Nice job. All right, everyone. Fantastic. So for today at 4:30, there is Yoga Sculpt with Beryl. Otherwise, have a great day. Stay warm. Kind of cold out.